my name is Gabriel Piemonte, and I'm a candidate for the position of 5th Ward Alderman. I've just produced a video that I'm publishing on Facebook and YouTube and other places, including my website, GabrielPiemonte.com, where I go into some detail about the ways in which my ideas around local political empowerment and economic development are linked. This is a brief video to give you an overview of that longer one that probably runs 15 minutes. So I'm making some really basic points that I'll outline here, and I'll go into more detail there. First, as an overview, I want to say that it's my belief that especially the south end of the ward, we are in a state of economic rupture, that the local economy has been distressed to such an extent that we don't have the basic conditions we need to rebuild, to become prosperous and thriving again. And those basic conditions are easily thought about if you think in terms of what you would need as a local business if you fell on hard times, or what you would need as a local homeowner if you fell on hard times. We don't have local lending institutions. We don't have enough assets in the community for people to be able to help one another out in that way. We don't have enough economic opportunity in the neighborhood. So this has all been pushed down to the point that if you run into a problem, if you hit a speed bump, there's not a lot of support for you. Now, how do we fix that? I want to start by talking about when new development comes in, how we should treat it. So more often than not, when we get new development in our neighborhoods, we get what I call extractive investment. We get projects that are purported to be something that's beneficial to the neighborhood, but when you look at all the details, what's happening is assets are being removed, profit is being removed, you end up being a site, essentially, for somebody else to generate capital that flows into a different community. How do we do that differently? Well, we need to certainly prioritize any projects that originate locally and do whatever we can to support people who are trying to do local development, who live in the neighborhood and already do business in the neighborhood. Beyond that, when people want to come to the neighborhood, we need to make their projects local. That is to say, if they have any capital requirements, and it's extraordinarily rare for any builder to come to a project just flush with cash, they're going to pay for everything themselves, there are no loans, there's no need for outside investment. Almost always, especially in our neighborhoods, there is a need for outside investment. We push those developers to accept outside investment within the community. So we give people in the neighborhood an opportunity to profit from the development that's happening in the neighborhood. The next thing we do is we have contractual agreements that are binding, not just these gentlemen's agreements and then no one's a gentleman, where we say if you don't have a certain amount of local hiring, and we're going to know it through this mechanism we mandate in the agreement, then we're stopping work. The problem that we faced in the past is that aldermen are afraid to not let things get built. They think if anything is slowed down or stopped, no one else is going to build where they are. Well, we know what the truth is. We are a treasure. We are the South Lakefront. We are an incredibly attractive collection of neighborhoods. We have to stop acting like every time somebody may want to build here, it's a huge present to us. It's a present to them. We are valuable as communities. We should value ourselves and demand that we're treated with respect. And this is how we do it. We have a contractual obligation. So opportunities for investment, contractual obligations, this is going to get us a little of the control we want. Now, that's all dependent on the alderman doing right, because those are negotiations that happen the way things are now with the alderman. The other idea that I want to introduce is sort of the third piece of this, and then please go to the longer video if you want to hear more about this. Please feel free to come to our website to see more aspects and contact us through it as well, is local development councils. So you've got these two pieces that are how we want to make people do business, and there are lots of other great ideas too that could be added to that. The other element is political. We want councils that consist of people from the neighborhood and distributed across the neighborhood, so we have people from all over, because every part of the community has different requirements and people have different sorts of specialized knowledge about what's working and not working in their neck of the woods in the ward. And those people will be a step in the approval process, just like planning, just like the like zoning, if that's required, just like the alderman's office. And so these developers have to come to us and we set conditions, and we monitor those conditions, and we decide whether or not they're being met. This is a critical piece. My proposal, my pledge is that we immediately institute a council through a process that will have to be something less complicated than an election, because we'll want to have something going right away. But within 2 years of assuming office, that we will have an election and people will be elected, and each neighborhood will have their own council, the part of the neighborhood that's in the 5th Ward, and those people will be picked by us. The basic premise is that we can make these decisions together. I believe that we are good decision makers. I believe we should say what happens in our ward, in our neighborhoods. I hope you agree with me. Reach out to me with ideas. Let me know what you think about this. Thank you for your time.